I build tiny cabins using recycled, repurposed, and deeply discounted materials.
I'm heading out to one of my favorite tiny cabins. Two people could live here comfortably year-round. Most of the lumber, flooring, and roofing were acquired before I even started building. The first item I purchased for this tiny cabin was actually the kitchen cabinets.
So here we are. When I purchased this property, all the utilities were in place, but there was just an old shed. Let me take you back. It all started with this old trailer I got free off Craigslist. It didn't have a title, so the owner just wanted to get rid of it. I moved the trailer up to the property, leveled it, and got started building. I started building in early fall, so I was kind of in a hurry before the bad weather set in. Once completed, the trailer's not meant to be towed any further. You can move it from one place to another, but it's not built for long distance towing. Joists and placed 2 inches of insulation in between them. Then I laid the floor on top and applied a waterproof coating. It was definitely going to get wet before the roof went on. The following week, I started framing. Most of the lumber I acquired for free from Facebook and Craigslist. The rest was coal lumber obtained from a local lumber yard. Coal lumber is what remains after everyone has picked through it. It's usually warped but can be straightened out for framing. I got it at a deep discount. Framing is probably what I enjoy the most. It goes up easily, and after just one day, it starts looking like a cabin. I hadn't planned on working the next week, but the weather was beautiful and I didn't want to miss a dry day. I framed up the roof, which meant it wouldn't be long before the place was weatherproof. At the back of the roof, I framed a dormer to provide more headroom for the sleeping loft. The following week, I began installing the roof. I don't enjoy working on roofs because I always fear falling. However, with winter approaching and the dry days dwindling, I need to finish this job within the week. Today I will begin installing the metal roofing panels. While metal roofing is generally expensive, I managed to get these panels for free. That's one of the perks of only needing enough for a small cabin. I was working on installing the roof of a large house. The metal roofing arrived in several manageable bundles. During installation, we noticed that each bundle contained 1 or 2 panels with scratches. Since we didn't have time to return them, we decided to install the damaged panels on the back of the roof where they wouldn't be visible. When we finished installing, we noticed we had 2 bundles left over. It turns out the metal roofing company had placed a scratch sheet on the top and bottom of each bundle to protect the other panels. Those leftover panels were just enough for this job. The weather was turning bad, and I wasn't able to return for a couple of weeks. It felt so good knowing everything was dry. When I did return, I started on the siding. I obtained the windows from Habitat for Humanity at just $25 each, which is why they are all different sizes. I mounted the windows first and then installed the siding around them. Once the siding was up, I popped in the new front door. I got the door for free from somebody who had just put in a new custom front door. I painted it green to match the roof. With the siding finished and the door in place, not only is everything dry, it is also secure. Now I don't have to shuttle my tools back and forth each time. It's time to take a break and show you what is my favorite thing about this cabin, and that is its location. I believe the cabin is located in one of the most pristine areas of the entire country. This is where I go when I'm looking for inspiration. The water is always cold here, but on one of those rare 90-degree days, there's a great swimming hole to cool off.
I think I'm going to look for a nice place to have lunch.
I'm cooking lunch using one of my custom-made fuel canisters. All you need is a roll of toilet paper and a quart paint can. If you want to make one for yourself, I have a step-by-step guide in a previous video. This is absolutely the best hamburger you can ever make. This is so good. We should head back now. There's a lot of work to get done before the weather turns bad. It's reassuring to know that most of the work will be indoors from now on. The following week, I started on the plumbing. Red lines are hot water, blue lines are cold. These are the lines for the bathtub, bathroom sink, and toilet. And these are the lines for the kitchen sink. This is the hallway where the stairs to the loft will be installed. The hot water tank will be on the other side of this wall. I find electrical work to be my second favorite job. It's quite relaxing. I'll be stringing wire throughout the entire cabin. The lights you see throughout the cabin are just temporary until the permanent fixtures go in at the end. After completing the electrical and plumbing work, it was time to install the insulation, which couldn't happen too soon. The following week, it snowed. It's absolutely beautiful when it snows here, and it's reassuring to know I'll be working where it's warm. I'm not looking forward to the next task, hanging the sheetrock. It's heavy, messy, and time consuming. I'll be relieved when it's finally finished. Every surface needs to be covered with sheetrock, and if you don't hang it properly, it makes finishing it much harder. This is the hallway where the staircase will go, and behind this wall is where the hot water tank will be installed. After completing the sheetrock, it's time to texture and paint. I usually sheetrock the ceiling, but I stumbled upon some tongue and groove pine on closeout at one of the big box stores. I had to visit 4 different stores to gather enough material to finish the ceiling. The ceiling looks gorgeous. It's probably the finest ceiling I've ever done. With the ceiling complete, it was time to install the permanent light fixtures. I chose hanging lights in the kitchen and living room area and zero profile cans in the loft. All the lights are LED, so they consume minimal electricity. With the messy work finished, it was time to install the flooring. You can often find leftover flooring on Craigslist and Facebook, and if you're not particular about the color, sometimes you can even get it for free. The next week I completed the bathroom. I used a lot of tile because it's inexpensive, and these particular tiles are even cheaper because they're mismatches. However, I've never been able to tell the difference once they're installed. It was now early spring, and with the first nice weekend, it was time to paint. And once the painting was complete, I could finally build the front deck. It was nice to have stairs to use instead of that crappy stepladder. Before I could install the railings, I had to hang the trim boards. I painted the trim to match the windows, and that bright white really makes the cabin pop. The next task on the agenda was installing the awning over the front door.
So I only have 60 amps of power. So in order to save on electricity use, I have to either have the water heater or the heater be propane. I chose to go with the propane water heater. That saves on a lot of electricity.
These are called space-saving stairs. They have the same 7-inch rise as normal stairs, but you use every other foot, so they can be twice as steep. The loft has a ceiling height of only 5 feet. Therefore, there's a dressing platform at the top of the stairs, allowing you to stand up fully while getting dressed. The following week, it was raining, making it the perfect time to install the kitchen. The kitchen cabinets were actually the first purchase I made for the tiny cabin. They had some damage, so I was able to pick up all 4 cabinets for less than the cost of one. When I bought the cabinets, I didn't even know yet where they would eventually be used. When I made the plans for the cabin, I measured the length of the cabinets and added 36 inches for the fridge. That's how I determined where the kitchen window would be placed. I obtained the butcher block countertop for free. It was previously used and quite worn. I spent numerous hours sanding it, and looking back, I probably wouldn't have done it again. The final piece for the kitchen was the floating shelf, which I bought at IKEA. I used a small in-wall heater to warm the tiny cabin. Despite its size, I was able to heat the entire cabin, even during a snowstorm. The final touch was a porch light. I found a lantern from 1908 at a second-hand store. Although the lantern didn't work, I was able to take out its inner components and replace them with an LED light bulb. I thought it was the perfect touch. The lantern had many dings and dents, suggesting it had quite a history.
Well, so long for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like and subscribe button.